Just bring us up to speed on how your bill differs from what Senator Schumer and Sanders were proposing, this sort of attachment of requirements to raise wages and make investments in their businesses to do buybacks. What does yours do?
Well, frankly, my bill would end buybacks by getting rid of the rule in the SEC that allows them. What we have to recognize is that back in 1981, under old rules, there were very few stock buybacks. About 2% of corporate profits were used on stock buybacks. In 1982, that rule changed to give safe harbor from insider trading accusations. And we have seen stock buybacks combined with dividends payouts now take about 91% of corporate profits. That's what the figure was in the S&P last year. That is an outrageous change in behavior that has all sorts of impacts on workers, on communities. When all the profits are going into stock buybacks or dividends, we see massive change in behavior that hurts workers. Now you combine it. Oh, go ahead.
So Senator Baldwin, the driving force here is because workers are being hurt. So why not go straight to the source of that issue and legislate for better workers' rights or higher wages or whatever it is that you think should happen?
Well, I'm for that too, but if you don't stop the stock buybacks, you're going to continue to see this trend that we've seen ever since the rule changed back in 1982. You know, I think the other provision of the bill that you need to note is that it empowers workers by allowing them to elect 30% of the corporate board members. And then you will have corporate board discussions that don't just talk and focus on shareholders and increasing the price of the stock. You'll talk about all the responsibilities that corporation has to workers, to communities, to investing for the long run. We have seen such a change from a few decades ago where corporate profits, at least in part, were used to make sure that the business had a plan to invest in R&D and keep up to date and retrain workers with new skills and give them better wages and
Senator,
invest in the community.
Shouldn't companies pay their workers more and invest in capital expenditures because they think that is a good investment and not because the government is telling them to do so and where to spend their money? Otherwise, aren't we just going to get corporate waste?
You know, what I think you see in board decision making is too much self-interest. Board of directors members, CEOs, top executives are compensated in part through the value of their stock and with stock. And so you see their fiduciary duty only focused on the stock and not on the enterprise to begin with. And I think that's gotten very, very lopsided, especially since the green light went on in the early 1980s for these stock buybacks to go on unchecked.
So presumably, Senator, you are just as much against dividends as you are against buybacks.
Well, I don't think this does not deal with dividend payouts, and I think that their impact is different. And we didn't see a runaway change in corporate behavior on dividend payouts, but we have seen these incredible shifts from 2% of profits to 91% when combined with dividends.